Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Happy Friday, everybody. Tomorrow, Manchester United play football again. Brace yourselves. It could be a long old weekend, but we've got lots of topics to discuss today. Before we jump into that, please do me a small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please also subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell and let's jump straight on into it. Right, so let's just get straight on with the show today and let's talk about the injury news because obviously on yesterday's video, we were trying to put together a team for the game against Brentford tomorrow, whilst dealing with what some are calling an injury crisis. But there is a bit of a positive spin on the kind of injury situation at Manchester United at the moment. So Manchester United themselves, which is interesting, have put up a statement on their own website, right? So I'm going to go through this with you today. It's effectively a full update on all of the different injuries, which I thought was quite a good thing to do because it kind of stops all the speculation. It stops all of the, the guessing, because it does get a little bit tedious sometimes, doesn't it, when you're kind of having to guess whether players are fit, whether, all the rest of it. So let's go through this together this morning and have a little look. So we've got the full fitness update from Carrington. Right. So the main headline is this: Mazraoui fit, available. Amazing. So that means we'll have Mazraoui and Dalot as the right back and left back, which is really, really good news. Garnacho obviously missed the international break for an injury. Apparently he is fit and available. And Amad Diallo also missed the international break, but he is now fit and available. So triple injury boost: Mazraoui, Garnacho and Amad, all available for the game against Brentford tomorrow, which is absolutely perfect. That's just what we wanted to hear. The story also says, again, this is on the official Manchester United website. It also says that Manuel Ugarte also he did a recovery session. So whether or not he'll take part in the game, I'm not entirely sure. This story came out yesterday. So yeah, I'd say it's probably 50-50. It says that Malacia is also progressing well, which is good. And he took part in training yesterday. Apparently he's not available. Mainu and Harry Maguire, both injured. They will not be available. This is the one that really, really confuses me, right? This player, Mason Mount. It says that Mason Mount continues his recovery from a knock sustained against Tottenham Hotspur. What is going on with Mason Mount? Mason Mount had what looked like a slight head injury. Very, very slight. Usually players maybe miss one game with a head injury. The Tottenham game was what, like a month ago? Let's have a look. When was the Tottenham game? Yeah, I mean, it was literally a month ago. How was he out with a head injury for a month? I don't understand it. I really, really don't. Like, Mason Mount seems to be available for like one game and then just injured again for like months. It's really strange. I don't understand it at all. Last season, he missed 27 games for injury. Pretty much half of our season. So yeah, that's the latest on Mason Mount. Apparently Luke Shaw is also making progress as well. Erik ten Hag is set to speak to the media at 1:30 today as well, so we should get a little bit more information. But the takeaway headline is Garnacho, Amad, and who was the other one? Garnacho, Mazraoui and Amad. So that's positive. That's good. The only kind of minor concern we have is obviously in the midfield position, isn't it? Obviously, if Manuel Ugarte's injured and Mainu's injured, I imagine it would probably be Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno. I don't have a problem with that, though, in all fairness. I mean, what's Brentford's midfield? Let's have a look at Brentford's midfield. Brentford's not going to be easy. Don't get me wrong. They're a decent team, but I think we should. Well, I don't know. Who knows? The thing is, in football these days, I say we should have enough to beat Brentford, but you just don't know, do you? And that's why football's so entertaining. That's why people watch football still, because any team in the Premier League, apart from pretty much Man City, can be beaten by another team on its day. Man City just beat everybody, but the rest of the league is quite competitive. So, when Man United play a team like Brentford, if this was 15 years ago, you'd say, oh, it's going to be 4-0. But in reality, Brentford are a decent side with a decent manager. They have lost quite a few games this season, though. They lost 2-0 against Liverpool, 2-1 against Man City. and 3-1 against Tottenham. So they haven't done amazing so far, but they have had to play some of the more difficult opponents. So their midfield is Norgard and Janalet. I know that Norgard guy, and they've got that Damsgaard as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think, Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno should be enough, but famous last words. But at least we've got Mazraoui. I think that's a massive boost because, if Mazraoui wasn't there, it was probably going to be like Lindelof playing at right back, which I think is not very good, as you can probably agree. But yeah, so quite happy with that. 3 players back from injury. What I want you guys to do now is to get your score predictions in for the game tomorrow. Let me know in the comment section. I'm going with, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to absolutely thrash them. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Manchester United win, I think. We have to win. We have to. We need those 3 points. We need to try and build up a bit of momentum. If we lose this game and then you then have to go away to Fenerbahce, that's going to be horrible. But yeah, fingers crossed. 3:00 kickoff, 2-1 Manchester United. That's the result I'm going with. But let's move on from that and let's jump over to Benjamin Sesko, because the headline this morning, coming out from multiple different English newspapers and media outlets, is that apparently Manchester United are going to try and sign Benjamin Sesko this summer. And I'll just say from the off, I think this makes a lot of sense. For me, Joshua Zirkzee is more of somebody who'd be better in a deeper position. He isn't a clinical number 9. He's even said in his own words that he sees himself as more of a hybrid 9.5, i.e. Somewhere between a number 10 and a number 9. So, yeah, I think, if you could bring in someone like Benjamin Sesko, so your strikers were Højlund and Sesko, and then you had Zirkzee as a number 10. I think it would be really, really good. Do I think Man United will get Benjamin Sesko? I'm not sure. I think there'll be lots of clubs interested in him. We know that Arsenal are still looking for a striker. We know that Arsenal have a long-standing interest in Benjamin Sesko. So, yeah, the likelihood of Man United getting him at the moment, I think it all depends on lots of different factors, doesn't it? It depends on who the manager is. It depends on what the budget is. It depends on, what the priorities are for next summer. And I think, obviously, next summer is a long way away, but I think Man United will be kind of planning their next window, because the thing we have to remember is next summer, 3 defenders will be out of contract. Johnny Evans, Lindelof and Maguire. Those 3 players will leave. So our only centre-back options will obviously be Martinez, De Ligt and Lenny Yoro. Most top teams have about 5 or 6 centre-backs. So maybe you promote someone from the youth team, right? That would be 4 then. But you'd still need another 2 centre-backs. So I think next summer, very much will be Manchester United going out and having to spend big on the centre-back situation, as well as probably the midfield situation as well, because, we are quite short in quite a lot of areas. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well today. Johnny says, what's the point in strikers when your wingers don't pass the ball? That's a fair point. I mean, Amad Diallo passes the ball. I wouldn't put him in that same category, but I would say all the rest of them, Rashford, Garnacho and Anthony, yeah, they just shoot, don't they? Pretty much every single time. Whereas Amad Diallo, I think, is a ball-playing winger. He does want to bring others into the game. He thinks of the assists just as much as the goal, which I think is what Man United need. Less selfish players who see it more as a team game, and players will look for a pass before they'll look to shoot, and that's like what Amad Diallo does for me. I think realistically, Man United probably will look for another winger in the summer, knowing that Sancho, Greenwood and Pellistri all left last summer. It will probably be another winger, a couple of centre-backs, maybe another left-back. Those will be the priority positions next summer. It's quite obvious to see. Obviously, it depends on who the manager is. If it's Erik ten Hag still, if it's a new manager, who knows? A new manager might come in and say, I don't like the goalkeeper. And then next thing you know, you've got to buy a new goalkeeper. So it's all a little bit up in the air, I think. But I would definitely agree with this story this morning that a new striker, it's not maybe the top priority, but I think, it's definitely something that's needed. But I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Like, where do we need to strengthen? Like, let me know the positions in the squad that Man United need to strengthen at the moment. I'd be interested to get you guys' opinions. So yeah, go and do that right now. Let me know in the comment section below. Mark says, if United signed Sesko, we would have Højlund, Chido Obi Martin, and Sesko as the strikers. Yeah, that's solid. Obviously, Chido Obi Martin is like a young player coming through, and Højlund and Sesko are still young, but they're a lot older than Chido Obi Martin. I'd be very happy with that if it was Højlund, Chido Obi Martin, and Sesko as our 3 strikers. And then our central attacking midfielders would be Mason Mount, Bruno, and Xerxes. I think that's solid. Very solid. I mean, Mason Mount's injured all the time. So he doesn't really even count as an option, does he? Hendy says, why don't we unleash Toby Collier? Yeah, maybe. I think to be honest, this game against Brentford on Saturday is probably too much of a big game for Toby Collier to be starting. Personally, I don't think he's probably ready, especially with the pressure and the scrutiny that Manchester United are under at the moment. I would be absolutely stunned if he doesn't play Casemiro, to be honest. I think Casemiro has that experience. It's a game that Man United have to win, and I think he'll probably rely on his slightly more experienced players, so the Ericssons, the Brunos, the Casemiros, etc. I think it will be that kind of lineup, especially knowing that Manuel Ugarte hasn't done a full training session yet. He only did what was being described as rehabilitation yesterday after picking up a slight injury for Uruguay. So I think that's probably the most likely lineup, but obviously we can wait and see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. It's just a short one to bring you the news this morning. Please make sure to drop a like on the video before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye for now.